Okay, this is for Algebra 1. It is Factoring Trinomials, Day 1. We want to start by remembering that as we factored polynomials for the last couple of days, we always look for the greatest common factor. You still want to start this process by looking for the greatest common factor. We will be dealing with trinomials today, which means you have three terms. It's going to look something like x squared plus 5x plus 6. So you still have 1, 2, 3 terms. That's why it's a trinomial. You want to look just in case you can pull out a greatest common factor. If you had 2x squared plus 10x plus 12, you could pull something out. These are all even numbers, so you could pull a 2 out and it would leave you 2 divided by 2 is 1, so x squared plus 10 divided by 2 is 5, so 5x plus 12 divided by 2 is 6. This will just make the factoring part of the trinomial easier on you. So always check for that first, okay? Once you've got that done, you still have to factor what's left in the parentheses. So, factoring a trinomial when there is no coefficient for the x squared term. In other words, right here in front of x squared, there's not a number. First thing you want to do is find the factors of the constant. The constant is your number at the end. So, for this one, we would be finding the factors of 12. The factors, remember, are all the numbers that you can multiply together to get that number. So my suggestion is that you just make a table, okay? And what would you multiply together to get 12? 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. So you've made a list of all the factors, okay? Don't worry about signs while you're making your list of factors. Then you're going to worry about signs. You're going to figure out, are these positives, are these negatives? There is a poster on my wall that's the sign rules for factoring. And it has a summary of them. If you want to memorize it that way, that's fine. Or it has a little rule down at the bottom that the second sign and the second sign is right here, plus. If it's a plus, it means both of your factors will have the same sign. And if it's a minus, both of your factors are going to be different from each other. Then you use the first sign, which is right here. And if they're both the same, it tells you what they both are. And if they're going to be different, it tells you what the biggest one is. And it seems a little confusing right at first, but if you'll just look up at the rule each time you do it for several problems, eventually you'll remember it and you'll just work through it without having to think too hard. So on this one, the second sign is a plus, so that tells me that they are the same. And the first sign is a minus, and so that tells me that they are both negative. So I would go through here and I would make all of my factors negative. Then you're going to have to go in and choose the factors that equal the coefficient of the x term. That's going to be right in here. So we need the ones that equal negative 7. Use your calculator if you struggle with signs. Negative 1 plus negative 12 is negative 13. Negative 2 plus negative 6 is negative 8. And negative 3 and negative 4 gives you negative 7. So this is the set of factors that works. You're going to take your two factors that you use, and you're going to make two sets of parentheses using whatever sign they have, and this will be your answer. So this is going to be x minus 3 and x minus 4. This is your answer. You have now factored the given problem. Okay, so this is where it shows on your notes that same problem I just worked. So I'm not going to work it again, but it goes through kind of my thought process and what I did. So looking at number 1, we're going to start by finding the factors of 14. Well, what could you multiply together and get 14? 1 and 14, 2 and 7. You got to look at your sign rules, okay? The second sign is minus, so that tells me they're going to be different. Okay, one's going to be positive, one's going to be negative. The first sign is negative, so that tells me that the big one is negative. So make your big factors negative, make your small factors positive. You're going to choose the factors that equal negative 5, because that's what's with the x. So 1 minus 14 is negative 13, 2 minus 7 is negative 5. That means these are the factors that I want to use. So I write my answer as x plus 2, because it was positive, and x minus 7 because it was negative. This is my answer. So for number 2, we're going to find the factors of 36. 1 and 36, 2 and 18, 3 and 12, 4 and 9, 6 and 6. I like to go in order, work my way up. As soon as you get to the same number on both sides, or the numbers that are really close together, you'll probably have found all your factors. Using my rules, they're going to be the same, and they're both going to be positive. So these are all positive. If you like to put the positive signs, that's great. If you understand that no sign means positive, that's fine too. I need the ones that equal 13. I can look at that and tell that 9 plus 4 is 13. If you need to add up each one, that's okay. Now that I have the factors that are going to work, I write my answer. X plus 4, X plus 9. That's all there is to it. Number 3, bigger number, still works the same. Find the factors of 180. 1 and 180, 2 and 90, 3 and 60. Okay, I went ahead and listed out all the factors for you. There's a bunch. We need them to have different signs, and the big one is positive. So all of my small ones have to be negative. And as you notice, I ran out of room. I had to go to the right. So then all of my big ones are going to be positive. Once again, you don't have to put the plus unless it just helps you. I need the ones that equal 3. I really don't even have to test these up here at the top because I can tell they're so far apart. If I look, negative 12 and 15 gives me 3. So x minus 12 and x plus 15. If you can immediately see what the factors are that are going to combine to give what you want, you don't have to list everything, okay? But if you don't see it, you need to list them so you can find it. Number 4, we're going to find the factors of 36, 1 and 36, 2 and 18, 3 and 12, 4 and 9, 6 and 6. Signs are the same, and they're both negative. So make all of your signs negative. I need them to equal negative 13. Negative 4 and negative 9. So x minus 4, x minus 9. That's my answer. That's all there is to it. Okay, this was Factoring Trinomials Day 1. If you have any questions, come see me during speed.